Alright, so I'm back with sketching headphones. I just wanted to finish this sheet of paper because it looks unfinished, so I just have to add some more concepts on here to make it look better and put my mind at ease, because it looks, yeah, I just want a concept here, maybe one here, another one here, we'll see. And I also made a fresh cup of coffee, which is almost done now, so I'm all set. So let's try and come up with a few ideas for earbuds or headphones or whatever you want to call it. We sketched these two previous session, and I noticed right now that this line here needs to have a thickness to it. So I'm going to add it right here. And if you've watched my videos before, you should know why I'm adding this thickness here for this specific line. And if you don't know, I'm not gonna tell you. I'm just kidding. The reason I'm adding that thickness there is because this edge or this line here is facing down, and you always want to have a light source in mind when you're sketching. So my light source is coming from the top, bam, so it's shining that way, and that means that the lines that are at the base here will have a thicker line to them. Since I don't have markers, or I do have markers, but I'm not going to use them for these sketches. So you kind of want to learn how to visualize the things you can visualize with markers, how to visualize that using just a pen. And in this case, thicker baseline is one of the ways to visualize stuff. Let's see. I'm thinking what I want to sketch. What kind of shape I want to do. Let's just start with a circle. Like that, and then we want to cut off the circle. So I'm cutting it off right there. And I'm also gonna just visualize the end on that end as well. Then just keep building this structure or product. Just move the computer back. This is kind of difficult when there's a big edge here. You see the amount of paper here, and I want to sketch up top. Kind of hard because it's not leveled with my hand, but I guess it worked out all right. Let's connect these two just by doing something like that. Let's see if we can design this area a bit to make it a bit more interesting here. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments underneath the video. I guess you know how Facebook comments work, I'm sure. Let's see, we have a kind of like a cut line here. And this is almost like a ball that you, foam piece is almost circular. So I want to just define this a bit more. Add some line weight. Also add some line weight here. Here's a trick: if you don't want to mess up your lines, just use an old, because I don't want to smear this out, so I'm just going to use an old sheet of paper. And just fill in the baseline of this foam piece. I think that's enough. Don't need more than that, because the line is gonna fade when we go up to the top anyway, since the light source is coming from the top. And from here, I guess we can start to add some line shading to this. So this is round. That means that the shade is going to have a curvature to it. This is almost flat, so we gotta make this almost a straight line. Something like that. And then we can start to add some line shades in here, just like we did on the other sketches. And same thing here with this. And you can add as much detail or whatever you want to do with this. For example, I think we need to have the cord coming out of here maybe. So I'm just adding some really simple, making it easy for myself. Just adding a outlet here. And then we have the cord coming out right here. There we go. I think it's not enough details on here, so I'm going to add some, or at least some line weight to it. And we can make this section darker. No questions so far? Guess not. We can add a layer of shade to this, so I want to add another and then fill this part in to make it darker. Just give it some more depth. Harry, with this one I started with a circle, so I started with this. I think you can still see the circle here. So I started with that circle right there, and after that I cut the circle, or the sphere, I cut it off with this ellipse. So I ended up with this shape here. And from there I built the rear of the product. But starting with, I mean, you can start with, you could start this with an ellipse as well, I guess. If you just start like this, and then work your way, define your shapes from there. I think this line here needs to have a bit more thickness to it, so I'm just going to add that. That's enough. Yeah, that's right. Just use basic shapes and start with that. Easier to think like that too, because it's really hard to think complex shapes without having anything down on the paper. So the simpler you start, the easier it is to come up with a bunch of ideas. So for example here, I can make some curvature to this shape here if I wanted to. Just starting with a simple cylinder there. But I'm gonna keep that one like that. Let's make another one. I'm gonna think of how I want to start this one though. Probably just start with an ellipse. And let's see. Can make it almost like one of those older ones. And they used to have like a rubber seal right here, if I remember correctly. So I'm just copying this first oval or ellipse and putting a bigger one behind it. Then all we need to do is to connect these two with two simple lines. One up here and the second one down here. And we have created our seal. From here we can, now it's going to be a bit tight here since we don't have too much space. But something like that, I guess. I just got to figure out how to have this line Well, that was a bit challenging. Gotta fill in this ellipse here, the first one. Arthur, I'm not sure, to be honest. I've never used any books specifically to learn how to sketch. I prefer to just watch videos and video tutorials. It works better for me, but I'm sure you can find some cool product design sketching books if you search for them. Yeah, same here. Start to work with the line weight. It's gonna make a huge difference to the feel of the sketch and the depth of it. And the only thing I'm doing here is just thinking about the light source, and from there the edges that are farthest or furthest away from the light source, those are the ones that you want to add some weight to. And by weight I mean thickness. It takes time, sure, but I think it's worth it. Cool. Just always rotate the paper to make it easy for yourself. How do these look? I think they have a bunch of holes in them. They have or holes or mesh. So we can try and see if we can do something with that. There we go. I guess that works. We need to add some shading to this since it looks pale and flat, and I don't like it. So I'm gonna add line weight and shading to this sketch. Other lines that you want to add some thickness to are cut lines or section lines. So those are lines between two different parts of the product. For example, the line between the mesh and the seal here. There's obviously going to be a separation there because they're not made in the same way, or they're not even made together. They're just put together afterwards. That means that it's going to have a line between them. And the reflections too, it depends on if you're making a glossy or a matte surface. That totally depends. If you want to do a sharp reflections or smooth gradients. Right now I'm doing sharp reflections, so glossy. Maybe we can even cross shade here. I'm gonna try and do that. I guess it worked out okay. I'm gonna add some shading from the top as well. And then just some final touches to this. Maybe add some holes or whatever on it. Something like that. And these usually just stop down here. Maybe that's too small of an ellipse, but I'm gonna connect it anyway. There we go. This sheet is starting to look better than it did. We added 2 more sketches to it. Not sure if I want to make any more of these headphones. I could fill it up with something else. Or random shapes. Just sketch some. Go back to the basics and sketch some ellipses. Always good to go back to basic stuff like this. And it's a lot of fun too. Same thing here. Want to think about the light source. Fill in the baseline. something like that. And also it depends on how we're looking at this sketch, if we wanna if we're looking at it from a slight top view, so we see the opening at the top, or are we looking at it from a slight bottom view. I think we're looking at it from the top, so I'm just gonna fill in this ellipse up here. And last but not least, I want to add some shading to it. Doesn't have to be more than that. That means that if the shading is on this side, that means that the light is coming from this side. So the shading on the inside should be on the opposite side, right here. Makes sense? We made an ellipse or a cylinder or whatever. It's a basic shape for sure. Still a lot of fun to do those. It's really good to do these to practice your line quality and your overall perspective. If you feel like it's starting to you need to get back into sketching, or if you've had a break for a while or something like that. Just starting with basic shapes is probably the best way to get back into it fast. So yeah, if nobody has any more questions, I think I'm gonna go offline and finish this video off with a few more lines, 5 more minutes maybe, and then I'm done. I think we can make something right in here, although I don't want to smear everything out with my hand. I'm thinking what to do. Same thing here, going over the line weight. Cool. I want to add some weight to the the middle part here as well. So if you're watching this and it's not live, it's up on Facebook, then if you have any questions regarding line weight or shading with a big pen, you can just ask them in the comments below. If you're on YouTube, that is. If you're live right now on Facebook, you can ask them as well, of course. There we go. I don't think I'm gonna create anything behind this. I just wanted to fill this empty space here with something, so I made one of those foam pieces in there. But I think that's it. That's it for today. 2 live videos, that's pretty cool. I hope you enjoyed the videos, and I hope you learned something from them. That's the whole point with making these videos, is to hopefully help you in your sketching. I'm just gonna fill this line in, and I'm done. There we go. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Take it easy.